Well, I'm standing here by the door of the house where I was born and where my father was born in 1901, my grandfather in 1874, my great-grandfather in 1841, and my great-great-grandmother probably about 1810. So the house is quite old. It hasn't been used as a dwelling place since 1958. When we moved 30 feet from this door to a new house. I don't know how I would survive if I wasn't anchored like that. I entered the family and place. Place is so important to me, and I'll never get over place. And I just have to have a sense of place and a belonging to place. So when I come home here, it is as if I never left. Like I am as fully connected like this minute as I was 50 years ago. I still remember when I was a day or two after I was ordained a priest, and I was home and I was walking up the lane, and Paddy Mulligan's father, we called him Paddy Mulligan. He was a man I admired so much, great big man of great quality and laughter, about the same age as my father, and he came across the hedge of briars and bushes down into the lane, and it had just rained, and he took off his cap and he knelt down in the wet lane and asked me to bless him. Like I said the little blessing in Latin on him, but I thank God I knew that I wasn't worthy to do it. I knew it then. But the man coming across and kneeling in the wet lane for this little fellow after that, he was, do you know what I mean, that he watched from being a baby, that I would be blessing him. So I always said he ordained me more than the bishop. He ordained me, he ordained me. And I would never forget that moment. I'm very thankful that I was born where I was born, and to the parents, my grandfather, whom I knew, with them, and thankful for the neighbours that were like parents to me. And the land that fed us, and how they prayed.
To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time for every purpose to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to reap, a time to kill, a time to heal, a time to laugh, a time to weep. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, 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 and a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to build up, a time to break down, a time to dance, a time to mourn, a time to cast away stones, a time to gather stones together. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season and a time to every purpose under heaven. A time of love, a time of hate, a time of war, a time of peace, a time you may embrace, a time to refrain from embracing. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, 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 and a time to every purpose under heaven.
The winter was so, well, the wind would howl and the rains would lash, and it would, and the long dark night and no light, and then would be, nights could be so dark, and there was no electricity, so there was only one little tiny lamp burning in this kitchen, no light in the rooms. You went to bed in the dark and got up in the dark in the winter, and it was like Christmas. On Christmas night we could afford candles. We bought candles, and there was a candle put in every room. And my sense of Christmas as a little child was the night the house was big. You could go to a room and you could see the room the night the house was big. And I remember asking my mother, why do we light the candles? And she said, well, just in case Mary and Joseph were going by and they needed a place to stay, they could know they could stay here because they could see the light in the window. Well, it was like no theologian could say that better than my mother. And I used to go to the door and open the door and look up to the head of that field outside the house there, just on the crest of the hill, to see could I see them going by. And I'd see the bushes and I wouldn't be sure. But so I think that, like, if I had a dream that could be realized for Camden, I would want every child to have a house that they came home to and they would love it. A house when they come to the door, like the door was the entrance to the, I don't know, like the temple of your life, where your life is lived, and you never get a day back. You never get the day back. You never get the year back. You never, like, time is so special or something. You kind of want to feel its meaning in the pace of time and the special time, and not be in a mad rush, but feel that place. I'd want them to have a lovely, not a big house, but a nice house. And I'd want them, when they walked out the door, that the next house was nice, and there was flowers, and there was window boxes. And you don't have to have a lot of land to make something look good. And I'd want everybody be have one goal in life, to create beauty. I would want them all to be doing that. And to know that a child, that innocent, untouched space, maybe space isn't the right word, but whatever that inside, like ocean of imagination, that inside, what's in there so innocent and untrampled and undamaged, and that beauty would come through the, as we say, the windows of the soul into that sacred area. And if that happened, it would kill anger and it would kill violence. It would, because you'd be walking around with a sense of it. And no wonder people get violent if they've been abused and all sorts of ugliness has crashed through their sacred windows and into themselves. Like, I feel that a lot.
To everything turn, 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 there is a sea.